Hi, this is Pete Fernbaugh. Welcome to Trinity Talk. My guest today is Trudy Wilson. She's manager of Primetime Office on Aging here at Trinity Health System. Welcome, Trudy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. The work that Primetime does is incredibly impressive. So tell me, let's walk. I know what you do. I'm familiar with all the stats, but let's walk our viewers through that and our listeners through that. First of all, tell us, what is Primetime Office on Aging? What is their primary goal?
Our primary goal at Primetime is to provide services and resources to adults in Jefferson County who are 60 years old and older.
Mm-hmm. And just to give us a sense, how many are in that population? What's the percentage of Jefferson County that?
It's extremely high.
Sure.
Out of the 88 counties in the state of Ohio, we're probably ranked about number 6 for having the most seniors in that county. So we have a lot of senior citizens in Jefferson County.
And obviously the reason that this office exists is because there's a need out there. So tell us, what is the need that you're trying to fill for seniors 60 and over?
There's a great need, and it grows each year as more of us age into that category of being 60 or older. A lot of the baby boomers are finally getting there. And so as we do, that just ramps up our numbers for Jefferson County. We provide services to people in Jefferson County who are 60 years old and older, as we said before. Sure. Those services that we provide include meals, transportation, exercise program, and legal referral services. The greatest need that we have is for food, though, for seniors in Jefferson County.
And we're going to get to that in just a second. I just want to emphasize those other services. That's pretty impressive. So we all know that, seniors and 60 isn't that far away from me. So 18 years. Well, so with that not being very far away, I start thinking about the reality. When you're younger, you don't think about the reality of that kind of stuff. So exercise, how do you provide avenues for them to exercise? Obviously very important, especially with the rate of diabetes, obesity, and all that. So what are some of the exercise opportunities you provide?
We have partnered with Trinity Health System. One of their physical therapy assistants comes over twice a week, and she is certified in Jerry Fit exercise program, and she teaches our elders low impact exercise. Some of it is seated, some of it is standing, some of it uses low weights, and they come in and they really enjoy it. They walk, we have a track outside that we offer for them. We've also begun to offer chair yoga for seniors through the YMCA's Y360 program. So we offer, things that are geared toward seniors, the things that they can do, the help that they need. And we're so pleased to be able to offer it through somebody that has appropriate credentials to teach senior citizens.
That's terrific. So they're getting what a lot of us pay to go to the gym to do.
Exactly.
They're getting that through you.
Exactly.
That's fantastic, because one thing, kind of a side note here, that seniors often struggle with are finances. They're often on very fixed incomes. So that's another advantage for these services, right?
Exactly. We also participate in silver sneakers. So if somebody has silver sneakers, their membership to become a member at Primetime is waived. So they come for basically free. And all of our services that are provided through Area Agency on Aging are all free as well. So the free services that we offer are food, transportation, the legal referral services, and exercise.
Wanted to touch on that, legal referral services. So is that related to wills, estate?
It is, exactly. Anybody who's 60 years old and older in Jefferson County, if they need an attorney to do any kind of more paperwork than anything, transferring a mortgage to a child, selling their home, doing elder care documents such as wills and DNRs and end-of-life paperwork. They can use an attorney for that. Anything that's non-court related, they can come and apply for additional help in funding that. And Primetime will provide up to $500 for their non-court related costs.
And what causes people to delay on legal matters, even as they get older, is the cost.
Exactly.
That's an amazing service. So transportation. Tell us a little bit about transportation.
Transportation is awesome. We have a program that people can call in and reserve a ride to and from somewhere. They do not have to pay for those rides. Of course, we always accept donations for anything that, we don't charge for those services, but you can give us a donation if you'd like. We'll pick people up anywhere in Jefferson County. So whether you're at the furthest north part or the furthest west part of Jefferson County, we'll come pick you up. We'll take you back home there. We provide transportation to and from prime time. If people want to come and be involved in the activities at prime time, we can do that. We also provide services starting early in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. We'll pick up dialysis patients, take them to dialysis. We'll take them for cancer treatment, for testing, for doctor's appointments. We'll take them to Walmart or the grocery store. We'll take them to get a haircut. Anything that has to do with the health and well-being of a senior, we will transport them to do that.
I think it's important to emphasize that. Anything that has to do with the health and well-being of seniors. So you are there to kind of almost be proxy caregivers in some ways. Not so much caregivers, but I don't know what word I'm trying to go for, but you're there to assist.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right. We are not medical. We don't provide medical services. We leave that up to Trinity.
Very good.
Even though we're part of Trinity,
Absolutely.
We are the senior care social service side of it. We also can provide transportation for seniors if they have to go to some place like Cleveland Clinic or Ohio State Wexner Medical Center or someplace in Pittsburgh. We usually take one long distance trip a week, and those are only for medical appointments.
But that's still remarkable because once again, what a lot of us take for granted is as you get older and maybe as your ability to drive diminishes and maybe your kids have taken away the keys, your family has told it's time to stop. Transportation's a big deal, or maybe you need to go to an appointment and you won't be able to drive yourself home from it.
Exactly.
That's such a remarkable. Do you hear from your seniors how much stress this takes out of their lives?
We hear from our seniors all the time.
Yeah.
Every month I have what we call shout outs at our staff meeting, and we get notes and cards and donations even from people that we've provided services for. So people really appreciate it, especially the ones that are older, they don't see as well, people that don't like to or can't drive anymore in big cities like Pittsburgh. I don't even care to drive in Pittsburgh myself anymore, but imagine if you can't see very well, you can't hear very well, and you have a walker.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to drive yourself to someplace far away.
Do you hear from their children or their
Oh
family
yes,
members?
yeah. Sometimes we do.
That's one of the problems with having aging parents. You want to be there for them,
Mm-hmm.
as we all know. You want to be there for them. You want to be able to take. But then you've got jobs and responsibilities of your own.
Exactly. And it takes the stress off those kids.
Yeah.
Knowing that mom's going to get to the doctor and she's going to be okay. She's going to have a way to the doctor and home from the doctor. She's not going to get lost on the road. She's not going to have an accident. It's a stress reliever for the children as well.
That's amazing. So, and I love that you're doing what we're starting to become more aware of as a country. The stress on caregivers, the fact that the community does need to help those who are trying to help their aging parents. Now, the other thing I want to touch on, and I left this for last because I know this has a lot of numbers with it, and it's got a lot of impressive numbers with it, the food that you provide.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Right. Food is really our baby. I know that sounds weird, but of all the services that we provide, food is the number one thing that's needed in Jefferson County for our seniors. We are required by Area Agency on Aging, through which we're a service provider, we're required to have our monthly menus approved by a registered dietitian that works for the state. So we have to ensure that we provide 1/3 of the daily requirements needed for seniors in that meal. And literally it may come back from the registered dietitian and say you need to add more of this vitamin in, or you need to add more of this vitamin in, or more protein into this menu or into this day. So, we may be the only meal they get that day.
Right.
So we're going to make sure they get at least 1/3 of the requirements that a senior needs to have.
And I want to emphasize that point that you just made. So these meals, you're not just giving them processed food and all that stuff. This is approved by experts. These meals that you're feeding them are approved by experts. They're going over the dietary, the nutritional value. That's a very meticulous process.
It is.
And it shows it's great humanity, or as we say at Trinity, human kindness.
Right, exactly. It is human kindness. We try to help the people if they have special diet needs, or if they can't eat a specific food, we try to substitute something in for that. Although most of the people just are able to eat the food that we provide. And guess what?
No.
In August of this year, we set a record for the number of meals that we provided. We exceeded 26,000 meals in the month of August.
Alone.
Alone, just in August,
Wow.
we exceeded 26,000 meals.
26,000 people were fed because of primetime office.
Because of prime time.
That's impressive.
Yes. Now we are able to do that because we are a service provider of Area Agency on Aging, and that provides about 25% of our funding. But also, thank you to the people of Jefferson
Right.
County for voting for the Senior Services Levy for prime time. They help us provide about 75% of those services to seniors.
So you've had an interesting year.
We have. Was levy
it's an election year. Yeah. And so you had to go to all the council meetings, and you had to you almost became a politician yourself. I remember
Yes,
talking
and I did not like that.
Gee, I wonder why. But the effort was rewarded.
It was.
By the voters voting on it, and now 75% is funded, you say?
About 75% of what we receive through levy funding from Jefferson County is what funds the majority of what we do. Yeah.
And I think the importance of that is, we always want to help. Most of us want to help other people out, but we don't know how. One of the ways is this levy.
Right.
As a
Vote yes.
You voted, and now
Right.
now you're helping. If you voted yes, you're helping seniors across Jefferson County.
Exactly.
And no wonder you're so grateful for it.
Yeah.
Now, how long is that levy good for?
5 years.
5 years. Terrific.
5 years.
So you got 5 years before you have to be a politician.
Thank
again.
goodness. Thank goodness.
So when it passed, with it being 75% funded, that also opened up the opportunity to create other sites for food.
It does, and it will into the future.
Yeah.
The levy funding that was just approved now will take effect in 2025. So we're still operating on the levy that was recently passed 4 years ago. But what we were able to do after the levy was passed, even before we got the extra money from the levy, is I was tasked through the commissioners and through Trinity management that they wanted to expand and have more places to provide food in Jefferson County. So in June of this year, we opened 2 new sites. The first one on June 10th, we opened in Amsterdam. It's what we call grab and go site.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's what I say is sort of like a drive-through.
Sure, yeah.
So we go and take the food, and from the van, we provide the food into the vehicle of the person receiving it, and then they just drive and eat it at home.
It's a lot like what kids get at school when they go in the morning. They have a grab and go line
Yes,
that they get into.
yes.
Now we've got that. That's
Exactly.
wonderful. How many of those sites do you have? Sorry,
That's okay. We have 6. We have 4 grab and go sites. We have 6 congregate sites, and we have multiple home deliveries. We have about 750 meals a day that go into home delivered vans to be delivered individually to each person's home.
Let's pull out here and take a bird's eye view of everything you're doing to make sure seniors are fed in this county. You not only have these grab and go sites, they can come to prime time to get food.
Absolutely. That's considered a congregate site.
Okay.
And we have a grab and go site that you can drive to as well. So Primetime Campus
So in
has 2 sites.
addition to the main campus, there are sites all around Jefferson County.
Yes.
And more being planned, I would imagine.
Yes.
And not only that, you make home deliveries, 750 a day.
A day.
That's
Yes.
incredible.
We provide about 1,300 meals a day. Our cooks start about 4:30 in the morning, and they just continue to cook and dip up the food and seal the food with a hot sealer and put it in hot packs and put it in warmers until we get the very last people fed at about 12:15, 12:30. Yeah.
And as we know, from the news and everything, food insecurity is on the rise in our country. So this is more important. Well, I mean, it's always important that people get fed, but it's more important than ever because we're seeing these struggles with nutrition and food. That's just the Lord's work, I think, is how they describe it.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's
Angels
a
of
work
mercy.
of passion.
Yeah.
You have to be passionate and love people and want to show that human kindness. And let me just tell you about another site that
Please
we
do,
opened on June 17th was in Hammondsville. And talking about food insecurity, I had no idea there were so many senior citizens in that northern part of Jefferson County. We opened that site on June 17th, and at the end of last month. At the end of October, we will have provided to them almost 3,000 meals in a month to a site that just opened in June. 3,000 meals in a month. That's how many elderly people are in that northern part of Jefferson County. We had no idea about it.
And now they're being fed.
Now they're being fed.
And I think the before and after is they weren't being fed before, now they are. Or they had struggles being fed before.
I talked to one lady from that site this last week. I went up there and visited, and she said, you know, my son takes me to the doctor down at Trinity, and he went with me this time, and he said, you know, my mom is so much better. Her health is so much better now that she's getting meals down at the municipal complex from Prime Time. Her health is getting better. She's able to socialize with people that she didn't normally get to see. And it's wonderful to hear those stories.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's like the overriding concern, right? Quality of life. We want people to have, one of our goals in this country is to have quality of life from the time you're born till your lifespan has reached its end.
Right.
And what you're doing, and we know seniors see a decline in their quality of life, not just through physical problems, but also in mobility and all that, and you're providing solutions to that.
Right. We are providing purpose for them to get up. One lady told me last week, it gives me a reason to get up out of bed in the morning and get dressed and go, come here.
I think that's an important part, the socializing too. We need to touch on that, because it's not just, I mean, I would imagine they can come and get their meal and leave if they want to, but there are other people there and they can talk, and we know, once again, from stats and everything, that seniors struggle sometimes having that human interaction.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, we have some older gentlemen that come and sit together at this table. You know, they've always sat there since I started here, and it's kind of their table. And one of the gentlemen said, you know, I come here 5 days a week because I love being here. I love being with my friends. He said, and on Fridays, I think, oh wow, it's Friday. Now I'm not going to have any place to go for the next 2 days. What am I going to do for 2 whole days by myself? And he goes and has dinner with his daughter on Sunday, but Prime Time is his main thing that he does in his life.
And it's important to also mention that you guys do a lot of fun stuff for seniors.
We do a ton of fun stuff.
There was a luau.
A couple of summers ago, we had a luau. We have parties for almost every event. I mean, you know, if you want a party, come to Prime Time. We're always partying for something.
Your St. Patty's Day party always looks pretty rockin'.
Pretty rockin', yeah. You know, and we'll have our Primetime drink specialties, but they are Primetime approved, because I always say I want to have a job next week. So we have Primetime approved specialty drinks. But yeah, that's funny. See, we're talking about drinks now. I'm like totally like off the subject.
That's another thing that seniors need. It's not just enough for them to get to the doctors, not just enough to get food, not just enough to have, you know, casual human interaction. They're also interested in entertainment. They want to do more than just watch TV.
That's exactly right. That they come and play bingo 3 days a week. Those are our 3 biggest days that we have people there at Prime Time. Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And don't mess with elderly people playing bingo. I mean, $1 could cause a fight. So don't mess with them. Don't mess with the numbers. Don't call them wrong. But boy, do we have fun.
Oh, I'm sure.
We do.
You know, it is, I'm so glad we're able to do this, because I think it's important that, especially, you talked about boomers aging, you know, Gen Xers, millennials are seeing that. And it's important that they know about your services. What would you like to say to the children of the people you reach out to?
Send us your parents. Send us your parents.
They say happily, right?
We love to help your parents. They really become like our family, you know. I have a parent who's elderly and in a long-term care facility. He was able to come for a while to Prime Time. He loved coming to Prime Time. So I would say, we will love your family. We will love your parents like they're ours. They become our family. We are sad when we lose some of your family members. We are happy when something happy happens to your family members. We celebrate them. You know, we check up on people if they're not there every few days to see if they're okay. We check up on people who are in the hospital. We send them cards. You know, we just follow up with them to try to take care of them.
And that kind of follow-up has to be important to them too, because that means they're not just a number. You're not just counting them. Oh, we had 100 people here today. No, you actually care about who they are as an individual.
Let me tell you about this too. Our home delivered meal program has what I would like to call eyes on safety checks. So our drivers are not medical, they're not doctors, they're not nurses. We don't hire them because they're doctors or nurses. We hire them because they want to deliver food to our home delivered meal clients. but they are a safety check. We have had numerous occasions where a driver has gone to take a meal and the client is laying on the floor and has been there for a day or several hours or 2 days.
Yes.
And so they're able to stay there and call the ambulance and stay with the client until somebody can come and help them reach out to the next of kin or the emergency contact person. You know, we've had an instance where somebody had fallen and they had to go in the garage of the person to find the hidden key so they could unlock the door to get the help in. We had one lady that one of our drivers found that was laying on the floor. She was, I believe, a new diabetic, didn't quite understand the insulin, and her sugar level was down in the 30s. And, you know, she could have died.
Yeah.
And even though we're not medical, we are able to put our eyes on somebody and say, you know, your dad is not acting quite as good as he did yesterday. His speech is a little bit slurred. He didn't talk to me as much or whatever. So that 2-minute interaction with that senior may help save their life.
That's incredible.
So that, you know, not only are we sometimes the only person they see in a day, but sometimes, you know, we're the only food they get in that day, and sometimes we may be the person that helps save their life. So it's so important what we do. It's more than just giving food.
You mentioned that you do shout outs at your meeting. Would you like to do any shout outs for your crew over there?
I would shout out my whole crew. I can't do this on my own. This takes a team.
No, that's a massive operation.
It is. It's sort of like every once in a while I'll say, okay, the bolts on the ship feel just a little bit loose. We need to tighten them up. But if any one person is not there on any one day, the entire feel of the program is different.
Wow.
Every person has a specific role and it all has to work in tandem. And sometimes when I'm not in like the depths of just everyday workings, I look back and I think, wow, what an amazing organization. And I get to be part of it, you know.
You get to manage it. That's what an honor that has to be.
It is. Sometimes it's a real honor.
And sometimes you got to go out in politics.
No, we're not doing politics anymore. I'd rather talk about, you know, it's just a real purpose.
Yeah, the purpose is amazing. So one aspect, we've covered a lot in this conversation, but one thing I don't want to overlook are your volunteers.
Oh, our volunteers are wonderful.
Yeah. So not only do you have employees who are dedicated and motivated and passionate, but you also have volunteers. How many volunteers do you have for approximate number?
Oh, you know, I don't know for sure. I would say 15, 20. Some of them are at site. So, you know, in Hammondsville, they probably have 15 or 20 volunteers that rotate on a regular basis. So we probably have at least 20 to 25.
So tell us, what do your volunteers do? How do they help you out?
Some of them serve at the sites. Some of them, they bag buns. If we're going to have hot dogs someday that week, they'll take a package of buns and they individually seal a bun in a package. So they love it. They get together. I call them the bun bunnies. And so they have fun doing that. We have other people that come in and help get food ready in bags for the meal delivery drivers to take them out. I have one lady that 5 days a week, she comes in and she works at the lobby desk for 4 hours a day.
No kidding.
And, you know, she'll count donations, she'll count lunch money. We have a lady that takes care of our cafe. She keeps it stocked, she makes sure the money is turned in, she helps order the food. We just have so many volunteers that will do so many things. Some of them help serve the lunch in our congregate site at prime time. For those people that have trouble walking, they'll take the food to them at the table.
Yeah, so you're providing opportunities for people in the community to serve.
Absolutely.
Are you always looking for volunteers?
We are always looking for volunteers. If you're interested, you don't even have to be 60 years old to be a volunteer. We'll take younger volunteers too. We'll take, you know, anybody that wants to help volunteer. And you just go through about a 2.5-hour orientation with Trinity, and we get you put on board and in a spot where you like to serve, and then you just do your thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me, are there any other stats or anything else that you'd like to share about prime time with our listeners?
Well, I thought it was really cool that last year, the end of our fiscal year at June 30, we had finished the year by providing over 250,000 services to people in Jefferson County who are senior citizens. And this year will probably be closer to 275,000.
Wow.
Last year it was close to 260. This year will probably be close to 275,000 services.
That's been a through line in our conversation. Growth. You're growing.
Growth.
There's no stagnancy right now. It's
Right.
growth.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, and we've increased our meal routes for home delivered meals. From when I started, we had 6. We're up to 10 now. We try not to have a waiting list, but every once in a while, those routes are so full we can't add meal number 82 to one driver to get it out there. But yeah, we want to help as many people as we can.
Right.
So, you know, we're very fortunate that Trinity supports us. We're owned by Trinity. We're very fortunate that the people of Jefferson County had faith in us, that we would be good stewards of the levy funds, and we're very fortunate to be part of Area Agency on Aging.
And let's not forget the YMCA and how
The YMCA, they provide Y360, and Trinity Physical Therapy provides, or the teacher for our Jerry Fit program. So we fortunately are blessed with the people that we have. It's a good team, it's a good solid team, and they're providing great services.
Well, once again, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
I really enjoyed learning more about your program, and many blessings on it as you go forward.
Thank you. Well, by the time you're old enough to get there, I'll probably be retired. So.
Oh, but it's less than 2 decades. That's sobering when you think about it.
Stop. I hit the age where they can bill for my meal this year.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today for Trinity Talk. We'll see you again next time.